Hey, SonicPAJ here, and this is an impromptu rave about my first impressions of the new game, Sonic Frontiers. Do I like it? Well, you're about to hear. Now, the first thing about this game, I knew it had puzzles, but the first puzzle I learned was setting up the controls. You see, I'm using a Nintendo Switch GameCube-styled controller, and the weird thing about this is that you cannot have any two inputs on one button. So I already know this is going to be a little tricky for me because I've always played Sonic games where the homing attack is the same button as the jump. I heard Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360 and PS3 were two different buttons, but I had Unleashed, so there you go. However, I did manage to map out my controls, and then when I started playing, those cutscenes got me really giddy, knowing that Ian Flynn, one of the best writers Sonic has ever had. I grew up with the comic books. Oh man, his writing, I know this game's gonna be great, so even though only just a little bit has been teased from the opening cutscene, I can't wait to see what comes afterwards. Now, I always heard the cyberspace stages were one of the weaker parts of this game, but right as I got plopped into this Green Hill cyberspace stage, I really wanted to get that S rank. So that's why I kept trying over and over again. I would not leave the cyberspace stage until I got that S rank. Of course, that's not something I would do for every cyberspace stage. When we got to the main game, I think Sonic controls great. I was able to set him the way I liked. Now for me to go fast, you gotta hold down the boost button, which is set to the trigger, which is pretty different for me. I keep trying to press Y, which becomes a side loop. So, as someone who's played Sonic games for his whole life, I'm so used to the simple control schemes, so it's not my fault that I'm not quite used to it yet, but I will get used to it, and I look forward to mastering these new controls, because there's so many new cool things, so many new cool combat combinations. I'm really looking forward to that. Fighting enemies feels good. My biggest gripe so far is the camera. Sometimes the camera does not know where it should be facing. This has been a problem with past Sonic games, or so I've heard, but really here is something I've had trouble with. As you can see, I got completely demolished by the Ashura boss. But I've had friends who play this game and had no problem with the camera, so I'm going to try to see what I can do to fix this. Speaking about the bosses, they're not even like the big bosses, they're just like the sub-bosses. But they're good enough to be bosses in other games. I think they're fun to play, they're interesting. I'm still stuck on the squid boss, but this is because at the end of my playthrough, my computer, it started to lag. The frame rate dropped severely, and even though I achieved the super blue boost, it slowed down even more. So this isn't the game's fault. This is something I've got to work out with my PC, because I've seen the footage how it looks on other systems, and it looks great. So this is just a little adjustment I gotta make. So everything I have played so far has gotten me really excited. Now, I know I have seen nothing yet, but I can't wait to see what comes next. So far, first impressions of Sonic Frontiers, it's very, very good. And as a Sonic fan, I've been a Sonic fan since I was 4, I recommend it. I totally recommend it. So, that's my first impressions review of Sonic Frontiers. This is SonicPAJ, over and out.